Quick note for you. One is who is not subscribed to our mailing list? Who has not received emails about this event? Anybody? So we have registration back there at that table. So please go up there and enter your name, and email address is most important, because then we can subscribe to you, and any changes, cancellations, anything that happens, we will notify you. So please make sure you are subscribed to that. And secondly, restrooms are back there. You know, as you enter out from this double doors outside, the women's is on the right hand side, and if you go past into the hallway, you will see the men's restroom. And so who was at San Jose yesterday? Who was at San Jose? Okay, we had a couple folks in San Jose. So San Jose, we did it. How many people of you are you aware that we did it in San Jose? How many of you know that we did it in San Jose? Yes. We would prefer, because as you can see, we have a much larger room here. So we would prefer that you come here if you are able to come down here, because we have a much smaller room back there. And yesterday it was, we had folks who were sitting on the floor because we ran out of chairs, and it's a good problem to have. You know, we ran out of chairs, and we didn't have any walking space. We were worried that the fire marshal would be called in. So it was not the best of situations. And that is Siva. Siva right there. Siva, okay, stand up Siva. Stand up. And Siva, you know, we did a similar entrepreneurs boot camp last year, October and November. It was a 6-week boot camp, and Siva ended up creating a project plan, business plan, that ended up first place in the last session that we ran. So a big round of applause for Siva. So, you know, Shivam will be talking a little bit about the details, but the idea is for us to empower that learning for our kids. And parents, you know, you're welcome to sit here because we have plenty of room. Yesterday at the library location, we actually had to request the parents to leave because we did not have any sitting area, no more seats left. And the parents actually had to go out and sit in the library wherever they could find a spot. Here you're welcome to sit, but you know, you're welcome to do your texting or read your messages on the phone. So that's totally fine, what it takes. And any specific questions you have before we get started? Okay, no questions. So we'll get started in the next couple minutes. And I think folks will be still coming in, but perhaps we can do the kickoff. So I'm going to turn it over.
Hi everyone, my name is Shivam Kumar, and I'm a sophomore at Saratoga High School, and I founded this Silicon Valley Coders Club. So the main objectives of our club is we want to provide a good learning, collaborative environment for the youth of Silicon Valley, and we want to give all of our youth an opportunity to learn about startups, creating business, entrepreneurship. And we want to get them aware of what's happening in Silicon Valley from the perspective of the industry. So I'd like to talk about what we did last semester for our club, Silicon Valley. And as my dad said earlier, we did the Entrepreneurs Bootcamp starting in October, and it was 6 weeks long. In our last session, we had 12 of the kids from the bootcamp come present their idea of a business plan to a panel of VCs. I think it was very successful, and Silva back there got the first place prize. So now this next semester, as I said yesterday, for those of you who are in San Jose, I said that we're going to have 3 main phases in our semester. First phase will be all of you guys will be learning the basics, ABCs of entrepreneurship and creating this into a business plan. And our second segment will be taking this business plan and turning that into a real prototype with the help of many mentors and adult leaders we'll have coming each session to help all the groups of kids. And our last phase is the Silicon Valley Tech Day, which is on June 12th, and we're going to be having 4 panels. So one of the panels will be a panel of politicians talking about the policies that foster innovation in Silicon Valley. Another panel of industry executives that will be talking about why Silicon Valley succeeds the way it does. A panel of women executives talking about the combination of women and technology. And our last panel will be a panel of venture capitalists, where these groups of kids that we're going to be making will present their idea of a business plan and real prototype. to this panel for a chance to win $1,000. So now before we get started, I'd like to introduce our teacher for today, Mr. Amit Seth. He's currently on the board of directors or advisors of various startups and a VC firm in Silicon Valley, and he will be teaching this class. So after 20 years of experience across the internet, TV, mobile and retail industries, and he also holds senior product management and business development at Yahoo. And he also has some experience at Microsoft and IBM. So let's welcome him up to the stage.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
everyone. Hello, everyone. Come on.
Hi.
Okay, one more time, all together. 1, 2, 3. I like that. I like that. You want some excitement? You know, this presence here spells excitement. We were, like Rishi said, at San Jose, overflowing completely. There was no standing room. The parents had to be actually sent out, and we're glad to have a big room here. But as you can see, this is tremendous. Thank you all for making time on a Sunday for us, making time for your kids for this very important cause. We, after all, are in Silicon Valley. This valley is all about entrepreneurship. I hope to, and I'm fortunate to be able to, impart some of what I have learned through the last 24 years of being here in Silicon Valley to the little ones with my hope, and really I truly hope this, that each of them become leaders of our future. They all found companies or part of something that they take and make it big, like the Facebooks of the world, right? And hopefully when that happens, we will celebrate that these people here became our future leaders. That's my real hope. As we go through the session, you'll get a further introduction on some of my work and what I have done. So I won't do that, but I will pause at, again, welcoming you. I'm truly, truly thankful that you all are here, and I'm actually very fortunate to be in front of you today doing this. Before we get along further, I want to invite Rishi to come and say a few words. Rishi obviously needs no introduction. For those of you who know, he calls himself a social worker, but as we know, he is our council member for the Saratoga city. But then his work and the work that Seema and he do tirelessly doesn't obviously stop at Saratoga, with the example being what we did yesterday at San Jose, and this camp also has Fremont as one of the centers. But then under the auspices of Saratoga Hindu Temple, there are classes that go on here throughout the weekend, and literally Rishi has taken that from nowhere to where it is today, a humming community. His mantra that I support, and I've been inspired to volunteer here because of him, his mantra of making Saratoga great, making a Silicon Valley great, I truly salute. Why don't you come and say a few words, Rishi?
Thank you so much, Amit. Good to have friends like Amit to be part of such initiatives and make good things happen. So thank you, Amit, for taking the time to be here and run this semester-long camp. Really appreciate that. And I'd like to ask the kids, and we did that a little bit of this Q&A type thing. So it's like I'm going to ask the question, then you give the answers this time. So the question is, why are we here? Let's see a show of hands. Who wants to respond to that? Yes.
To learn.
To learn. What are you going to learn today? Yes. Okay, entrepreneurship. What else?
How to be, did they just say entrepreneurship?
Yes.
Okay, then how to start a business.
How to start a business. And what does that result into?
How to make it successful.
Make it successful. What happens when you hit success?
Money.
Money, yes. Has anyone heard of the $1,000 that we are giving out? Has anyone heard that? Is anyone here just for the $1,000? Well, we'll have to wait for a semester before we get there. June 12th is the big day. So actually, Shivam ran the first annual Silicon Valley Tech Day, and we did that over here, and he referenced that. We basically had about 3 different panels. We had a Women in Technology panel, and we had like an SVP from Savantech, as an example of somebody who was here, Anna Pinson, she lives in Saratoga. Then we had executive panel, industry executive panel. So we had Charlie Pham, who is an SVP at VMware. So he was here along with a bunch of people, including Sudhakar Ramakrishnan, who is the CEO of it's a security company. So we had panelists like that. Then we had a politicians panel. We had David Cortese, the president of Santa Clara County. We had Assembly Member Kansan Chu. We had Council Member Ash Color from San Jose. And we also had Mayor Estevez from the city of Milpitas. And they were actually talking about policies. How can we make our community successful? How can we make Silicon Valley successful with policies? And those were the kind of discussions they were having. Now this year we also will have a young entrepreneurs panel. So typically the 20s entrepreneurs who have made it a success in the industry. So we'll highlight that. And then we'll finally also have a VC panel where some of you will be actually pitching your product plan, your product, whatever you have developed so far, to win that prize fund. So that's how we'll do it. That's June 12th. So between now and then, from June and July, we'll be going through this boot camp, the business school type flavor for January and February. And then also after that, we'll have the mentorship, like how Shivam called it. We'll have huddle sessions where folks will be able to, students like you will be here, and you will get the mentorship from industry leaders, folks who are into programming or let's say user interface design, and that will provide you what it takes to take that idea, turn it into a business plan, turn it into a project plan, and then eventually turn it into a product. And through the course of 6 months, we might have a finished product or we may not, but it's a question of making progress and learning from there. So, question?
Will all the teams, will they all launch all of the apps? Will all the apps eventually be launched?
Yes. You will have an app that is actually sitting in the App Store, right? You might, but some of them may not finish it yet. Because they are fairly rigorous. Before you can upload an app, you have to go through some checks, right? So it's not that easy to have a finished product that ends up in the App Store or in the Google Play Store, right? So it may or may not happen, but that is beside the point, right? The important thing is to learn. Like somebody said, we are here to learn. We want to ensure that all of us have that learning experience. Now, can anybody name me a company from Silicon Valley? Anybody? And someone else? Yes. Apple. Where is Apple? Cupertino? Yes. And one more company. Siva.
Facebook.
Facebook. And where is Facebook?
Palo Alto.
Palo Alto? Where is Facebook? Let's see.
Menlo Park.
Menlo Park. Yes, Menlo Park. And Facebook was, they took over the building of a company that used to exist there. That is no longer. Which company is that? Okay. Any kid wants to answer that? Yes, Sun Microsystems. Now, how do you find that? If you go to the Facebook board of Menlo Park, as you arrive into Facebook, there's a big board, Facebook. Go behind that board, you'll actually see Sun Microsystems there. They haven't taken it away as a reminder. What's that reminder for? Companies can fail. Sun Microsystems had the best of technology, but they couldn't create that business initiative to succeed. And that's why when we are doing this, we are putting a business flavor to this. We start off with that. Because that is the essence of making something successful. We can be, we can all be high-tech geeks, that's what I call it, but in Silicon Valley, geeks are rock stars, But we can be high-tech geeks, and but having that business understanding of what it takes to take something and take it to fruition is extremely critical for us. And so a couple of things is, one is when you look at the registration process, this is obviously free all through the June 12th. There is no charge for anything. And then we'll start a new semester in fall. So we'll run through 2 semesters of this. And in summertime, what we are thinking is we might run like 4-week efforts, 4-week Android boot camp or 4-week iOS boot camp. It'll be offered right here. So like Amit was mentioning, there are quite a few classes we run here. So for example, we have a meditation program going on there. We have a pranic healing class going back there. We have a Lego robotics club that meets here. And then we also have like a Balagokulam going back there. So there are many, many different classes. And it's tinyurl.com/Saratoga class. So all of that is offered for free every Sunday. We start at approximately 2:30 and it goes on till like 6 p.m. So any questions before we get started? I'm going to turn it back to Amit. Yes.
Are we going to be working in teams or as individuals?
Yeah, both. You can decide if you would like to form a team, that's great. You know, and we'll be talking about that as we get into March. This is a little bit early, we'll kind of stay focused on this format. We'll run through this every week. And as we get closer, I would highly recommend you to join the Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/Silicon Valley Coders. And the website is siliconvalleycoders.org. And that's probably the best way for you to make sure that you're subscribed to the email and you're connected into the Facebook. Yes, question? Last question. Any questions? Okay. Thank you all for being here, and a big round of applause for all the kids here, because they are taking the time to join us today. And for the parents to driving them over. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Amit. Thank you so much, Amit.
Thank you, Rishi. All right, so we're going to get started. It's 3:15. I would like this to go slightly over 4 because we have started 4. Are you okay with that? We have an exercise plan for the end. Are you all okay with that? I hope so. If not, for those who won't have to leave at 4 sharp, you can feel free to leave, because what we will be at that point is an exercise, and we will catch you up on the next class on it. But we will go over slightly, and bear with us on that. The other thing is my email's up there. At any time, if you have any questions, please email me. I will respond to each one of you. I would like to get as much participation and Q&A going in here as well as outside, as much as possible. And lastly, one more housekeeping. For those kids who are at the back, if you're feeling a little left out, without being too disruptive, may I suggest, pick up your chair and come and sit on the sides here so that you get up in front. If you want to, that is. If you're comfortable there, it's all yours. Don't worry about it. Okay, we're going to get started. If you guys want to, you can feel free to do it while I'm talking. So next slide, please, Seth. So as we talked about, there are various sections of this camp, starting with the first section being the entrepreneurship one, right? The entrepreneurship one is where we learn what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what it takes to start a company, what it takes to think about converting an idea to technology to a product, what it takes to even protect your idea in terms of IP. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about creativity and really what's your passion. How do you channel that passion towards making it something as in a company or an idea? We're going to talk next week about behavioral traits of successful entrepreneurs. Week 3 onwards is where it's really the meat of the program. The first 2 weeks are concepts, it's discussions, it's about what makes a good entrepreneur or not. Week 3 onwards is where we get really into how do we create a business plan. We have a template that I have used for literally 100 companies that I have either helped mentor or as a VC sitting on the other side had folks follow. I'm going to share that with you, a business plan. After that, what it takes to then start a company after you've made the business plan. And then some of the other associated but very important aspects of startups. Financials, presentation skills, what to say to and not to say to VCs, IP and technology. Those will be covered in the next few areas. And then last but not the least, with a prepared business plan, that's when we pitch those. We will select the top ones and we will pitch those. Everybody excited about this agenda? Yes. Yeah? So by the end of this, you guys can go pitch to a VC and get money and get started. But I would encourage you not to leave your school though, even though you get funded. I'm sure you will. Next slide, please. So we'll start with a very simple thing. What's an entrepreneur? So who wants to take a crack at defining what's an entrepreneur? Show of hands, please. Okay.
So an entrepreneur is a person who makes a startup. They're they make their own company and they get someone to fund it, and then they basically start to grow from there with ideas, new plans.
Very good. Very good. So the answer is someone who makes a startup and gets it funded and gets it going and gets something going. Any other definitions different from that? Show of hands. Shout out, please.
Anyone who's able to take an idea and make it come to life.
Anyone who's able to take an idea and make it come to life. I like that as well.
Somebody who finds a problem and creates a solution that can be put in the form of a business.
Someone who takes a problem and converts that into an opportunity and therefore a business. I love that definition. All three of you, very good definitions. Let's see this clip from a Hindi movie. And this movie is actually in English. So it's not the dialogues are not in Hindi. So I hope you can follow along. You want to switch the mic on?
Yeah.
Oh, sir. Sit on the top. Yes. I, Shashi, from the India.
From India.
Yes, sir, from the India.
No, Sashi, not from the India. From India. And what do you do, Sashi?
I also cooking. Cooking, selling.
Are you in the catering business?
Choda sa small business in house only, making snacks, laddu,
We have an entrepreneur in the class. Entrepreneur. It's a person who runs his or her own business. Sashi, you are an entrepreneur.
Thank you. So the definition according to the movie is anybody who has an idea, converts that into a business, is an entrepreneur. In the Silicon Valley, the breed of entrepreneurs, thanks to this little gentleman here, is someone who starts a startup and brings it to life. And thanks to two of the folks here who exactly spelled it out. But this movie is an excellent one. It's one of my favorite movies of all times. It's about this lady learning English while she comes here to New York. It's a very poignant movie. It's also about respect for your parents, respect for your elders. Please note, all kids here, never, ever, ever go out of bounds. Always, the folks who have brought you here, who have taken their time to bring you here, who have high hopes of you to be leaders of tomorrow, please make sure to always respect them. Next, please. So we then start off with this concept of creativity, right? What really is creativity? I'm not going to read what is there. We'll send you those slides. We'll make sure to bring that to life for you in terms of if you want to read it. But for Silicon Valley and what we have here, we have defined it previously as well. It's ideation, it's idea, and creating innovation from that. That pertinent to Silicon Valley is creativity. There is creativity in all of you here. Every one of you has a creative part about you. The key thing here is, how do you take that creativity, be cognizant of your creativity with one concept that I'm going to discuss next, and channel it in the right direction. Next slide, please, Cynthia. And that concept is passion. The concept of what is my passion? What do I really want to do? And that passion is not necessarily something that is what you learn in school, like math is my passion, like chemistry is my passion. A passion can be anything around what you feel really happy when you think about it. What you feel elated to be able to go and work in that area. It could be sports, it could be obviously math for someone, like it was for me. It could be saving the planet, for example. I want to go to a few people and see if we can get what your passion is. Show of hands, please. What's your passion?
Music.
All right, music. Think about ideas on how you can bring music-related ideas as a business. That's your passion. Think about that. The little girl here. What's your passion?
Art.
Art, wonderful. Art.
Sports.
Sports. Art. Music.
Sports.
Sports.
Deca.
One more time.
Deca.
Deca.
Yeah, it's a business club.
Oh, nice. Now, my take on all of this is that, obviously, you guys are not studious. You're not thinking about math or chemistry or something. That's okay. That's okay. Because your passion need not match your learning. But conversely, your learning will always feed your passion. If you have core fundamental learning on all the aspects that you learn in school, your passion will be fed significantly better so that you can convert those ideas and the creativity and the passion into business ideas, which an entrepreneur does. So keep that in mind at all times. Now, Yo-Yo Ma, how many people have heard about Yo-Yo Ma? Child prodigy, musicians, especially those folks who talked about music as a passion. So passion is that great force that unleashes creativity. So I didn't say it, Yo-Yo Ma said it, right? So it is significantly important for you to remember to channel your passion, and that's how you get your creativity out. So I have another video that then takes the concept of passion and creativity and takes it into how you can think about business and business concepts around that passion and creativity.
As part of my role at STEP, I have the incredible honor of teaching a course on creativity and innovation. In fact, I see some of my students in the room. And the entire overarching theme of this class is that all problems are opportunities. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. In fact, anyone in my class would probably be able to recite that in their sleep, right? Any problem is an opportunity. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. And what I do is I give students problems. They start out as really small problems. And over the course of the quarter, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, until finally they just get extremely comfortable taking on challenges and looking at them through the lens of possibilities. Now, don't just listen to me. I mean, why should you listen to me telling you that problems are opportunities? This is something that is embraced by the entire venture capital community and the whole entrepreneurial community. In fact, I'm going to play you a video clip that I play all the time. It's one of my favorites. It's by Vinod Khosla. You guys know who Vinod Khosla is? Who is it? As part of my role at FTEP, I have the incredible honor of teaching a course on creativity and innovation. In fact, I see some of my students in the room. And the entire overarching theme of this class is that all problems are opportunities. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. In fact, anyone in my class would probably be able to recite that in their sleep, right? Any problem is an opportunity. The bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. And what I do is I give students problems. They start out as really small problems. And over the course of the quarter, they get bigger and bigger and bigger, until finally they just get extremely comfortable taking on challenges and looking at them through the lens of possibilities. Now, don't just listen to me. I mean, why should you listen to me telling you that problems are opportunities? This is something that is embraced by the entire venture capital community and the whole entrepreneurial community. In fact, I'm going to play you a video clip that I play all the time. It's one of my favorites. It's by Vinod Khosla. You guys know who Vinod Khosla is?
Sure,
who is it? Founder of Sun Microsystems, successful venture capitalist, and this is a 27-second long clip where he talks about problems as opportunities.
one thing I would say is find a big problem. To me, any big problem is a big opportunity. If you think about it, no problem, no solution, no company. It's very simple. Every big problem is a big opportunity. If you don't have a big problem, you don't have a big opportunity. Nobody will pay you to solve a non-problem.
In fact, I see that was a talk that Tom Byers, my colleague, was introducing him, interviewing him, and it's a clip that we play in all of our.
So here the second concept comes together, right? So you have passion and you have creativity, and then there are problems in the world that need to be solved. Now, the human aspect of thinking in psychology is, if you have a passion in that area where there's a problem, there's a very high likelihood, because you're thinking about it all the time, that you can help solve that problem, right? So think about it all times. In your area of passion, there was sports, there was art, there was some other things, in my case math. What is the big problem that we are being faced with? That if you were to take that problem and attempt to solve it, it would yield meaningful results, such that people will start paying you for that solution. And if they start paying you for that solution, guess what? You have a business, you're an entrepreneur, you have a startup. VCs will want to fund you, because guess what? You have solved a big problem that exists. So bring it all together, your passion, your creativity, bring it together with the problem to be solved, and lo and behold, I guarantee you that you will be a successful entrepreneur. That is the only mantra to being a successful entrepreneur. I shouldn't say only mantra. It's a big, big mantra to be a successful entrepreneur. Let's talk about sports, right? I'm helping a startup right now that is attempting to solve a problem in sports, which is people, when they play with equipment, whether it is a cricket bat or a tennis racket or a table tennis paddle, they want to understand what they're doing wrong so that they can better the game. So these folks have invented a little device that's small, that fits into the cricket bat or the snooker cue, that then gives you statistics on every shot, whether you executed right or not, whether your plane of the racket was right or not, whether the shot and the impact point was right or not. So this is what we call IoT, Internet of Things, coming together with sports and solving a big problem. And guess what? That startup is off and running, and it's in their area of passion of sports. So now that we have learned the mantra, let's go in and talk about a little bit more about creativity and how some of the Silicon Valley companies that have employed creativity to solve some problems. We'll talk about Google first. So who wants to take a crack for me as to saying that what big problem Google solved?
Search engine.
That's great. You want to expand on what is the key creativity there? So there are hundreds and hundreds of sites that came about in the 90s, which grew to thousands, which grew to 10,000, to millions, to hundreds. So today there are a billion sites, right? You need to be able to search it, right? That's what a search engine does. So there was search before, right? I used to work at Yahoo way back, and you know how the other companies attacked creating a solution for search? They would have people who would go into a site, www.cnn.com, www.huffingtonpost.com, and they would go in and see, oh, this site is about news, so they would record it. And then when someone came to search, they would find those sites. And guess what? That is great when you have 100 sites in the world, or maybe even 1,000, but it doesn't scale when you have as many as you have today. What Google did was apply technological creativity. This is mathematical creativity. It's about big data. How many people have heard about big data? We will talk about that in the subsequent classes. And solving a fundamental problem where search becomes seamless. So when you go in and now you say, let me Google it, you're basically searching 1 billion sites around the world. 1 billion plus sites, think about it. And you get a result back in less than a second. That's amazing creativity. And guess what? They got rewarded for it. Their market capitalization today is amongst the top companies in the world. It's over 500 billion. 500 and 8 billion as of yesterday's stock market. Google didn't stop that, right? Google has now innovated significantly with Android. If you look at half the phones are now Android phones. Self-driving cars. Who's seen a self-driving car? That's great. Think about it. You don't need a driver anymore, right? Cars will drive themselves. That's creativity. Apple. When Apple came about trying to solve things, they looked at how people were using technology, using information retrieval, using music, consumption and such, and said, you know what, we have to massively simplify it. Steve Jobs' mantra was massively simplify it. He would have fights with his team that said there'll be no more than one button in a device. And people were like, no, let's add 50 buttons. But guess what? Simplifying every aspect of how you do it to help the consumer achieve via these devices that they launched, each one of them are blockbusters. They changed the paradigm of how these different areas were used, whether it was computing, whether it was music, and now with the watch, and the way the Apple Watch has gone and where iPhone is and iPads are and such. So massive amount of innovation here as well. Tesla, how many people know about Tesla? Okay, who wants to tell me about what Tesla is? You want to take a crack?
Basically, they create cars that are powered purely by electricity. Yeah. Tesla in a nutshell.
Yeah, that is perfect. That's a great answer. Think about it, right? Cars forever have been run with gasoline. And they've been run with, you going to the pump, the gas pump, and getting gas. Think about how these folks brought about battery technology that were now able to change completely how cars are run. And guess what? They don't claim it, but these cars are significantly more powerful than any car out there. The new P85 or P90D is more powerful than a McLaren. It goes 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. That's what they have invented here. This is a radical shift in cars and how cars will be of the future. And guess what? They sell less than 100,000 cars a year, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Compare that to General Motors, and they are one of the largest, if not the largest. It waffles between Toyota, General Motors, and Volkswagen to be the #1 car maker. Their market valuation is bigger than GM. That says something. That's the future. That's what the market is saying. Next, please. Netflix. How many people use Netflix? So who's